and a couple more. The idea is to find around 6 tables to begin with. And table 3, it's an imp pot and he pots on the flop, so we have only a cut shot. No reason to continue. In PLO 10, we pretty much make our money with patience. We wait until we hit the hand, and when we hit, we value bet. And we should make a lot of money by doing that. On table 3, we have a rainbow rundown, but it's half a BB to see the flop. And as we don't hit the board hard enough, we can just give up. There's an interesting table. They are all deep. I'm going to sit on this one. Oh, I was too late. Oh, now I got the spot. There was some discussion on the forums from Chip Leader about how to estimate the range for opponents, and it's something that we can discuss about. So many hard words. It's something we can discuss about during this coaching. Yeah, we have had some huge downswings in English nights and in Finnish PLO nights. Well, not huge, about 20 buy-ins or 10 buy-ins, but yeah. Here on table 2, I open, he imps, and when he calls the flop, I don't think he has sets 2 pairs that often. He probably has a flush draw, maybe a straight draw, so that's why I value bet on the turn. And on the river, I have pretty much good hand, and I'm making a small bet, so if he has kings or queens, he calls me. And probably if he raises me, I'm just going to fold. And he folded river. One key to make money in the small stakes is to value bet thinly enough, and especially on the turns. Like in this hand, I'm going to move it here. On the turn, yeah, there's 2 flush draws, there's tons of straight draws, but I think you have to value bet the turn because you are so often ahead, and he might fold some of his draws when the board pairs. So just value bet. If he raises turn, it's pretty easy to fold. And if river completes anything, even if he has a flush or straight, he's going to check it back often. So he can't get the odds on the turn. Here on table 3, this Russian active guy min bets from the button, and we have ace king jack 3. 3-betting is not a good option in my mind. Because what I know of him, he has so far potted every flop. So we can just wait until we hit the hand and then continue. And now he checks the flop and pots the turn. Might be an aggressive guy. But I don't mind giving 1 or 2 BBs to him every now and then when I hit the hand I can stack him off. Francis shoved kings pre-flop. Well, king induced you, so can't blame him. If he has a read that this vanilla guy is 3-betting with wide range, yeah, he can 4-bet. Of course, ace on the flop and spade on the river. Why can't we get a 4th table? Now we can. Kaboom. Here, I know a lot of players. Oh, now it's gone, but welcome to it here. On table 3, suited ace, a lot of players like to limp behind. I like to save my 1 BB, because pretty much the only hand that you can get a huge value is your nut flush. And you are not going to flop even a flush draw, like 1 out of 20 times. So often you will hit on weak ace, weak queen, bottom set, maybe a cut shot. And it's going to lead you into a lot of problems. So I think it's safer to just fold the hand. If it's not good enough to raise, then don't limp. That's good thumb rule. Oh, I was supposed to fold on table 3. Thought about calling, but there's regular on my left on the button, so when I call he's going to call with wide range. So I hesitated a bit. But it's so close that calling preflop is not a huge mistake. Of course when we hit we are betting. Delay is about 2 minutes. And now we have 6 tables. It's going to be enough for now. When all in 1951 checks back on the turn, he probably doesn't have a flush. So I'm going to check call this river. I check to give him an opportunity to bluff me, but he doesn't. Oh, he had a 2 pair, that's why he didn't bet. You're on table 2, ace 9, 8, 6 double suited. I might open, but I'm in the worst position pre-flop, so I decided to just pay half a BB and see the flop. If I had any better position, I would open. Like if MP limps and I'm on the cutoff, I'm definitely raising this up. And 1 BB, I'm going to call. There are some turns that, like 5 or 7 gives me something. Ace is decent card for me, 6 is good for me. It's only 1 BB. Check flop pot turn. It means he checks flops and bet pot on the turn. Wow, this all in 1959 is not the tightest play around on the flop, although it's a mean bet he calls with only backdoors. In hand range, well, it means that he doesn't have a strong hand on the flop, but he might have on the turn. Action defines range. I'm going to find the hand here. Like, oh, it wasn't that one. It's this one. When he checks back the flop, he doesn't have a set and he doesn't have a 2 pairs pretty much ever. And he probably doesn't have an overpair because there's no straight possibility. He might have a straight draw wrap because he is 109. He might check his draws. But when he pots on the turn, yeah, he has a lot of bluffs in his range. He has so far bet a lot of flops, has been active post-flop. So yeah, he might have bluffs, because when I check the turn, I don't ever often have a straight. Well, against him I might check raise, but he can bluff me on pretty much with his whole range, and I just don't want to continue. So his range is super wide on the turn. I know he doesn't have a queen 9, queen 7, or set of queens 9s or 7s. Here on table 4, I call this half a pot, or it's under half a pot. I have a cut shot, backdoor flush draw, and I have the overpair. And I don't want to raise, because there's one guy behind me who might also try to check raise. So I'm calling this c-bet. If we were heads up, I would probably raise here and get a lot of folding equity. Yeah, it makes hard to interact, but then again, we have this replay window. So when you see something interesting, just say it in the chat and I'll find the hand, and then we have a good time to discuss about the situations. I'm happy to find a hand that I can discuss about. So it's not a big problem. Yeah, it's not the optimal, but it's not the worst. We pick up the flush draw, and now I think it all depends on his bet sizing. If he pots, I'm folding, but half a pot, even with the flush draw and cut shot, we get the odds. And often we have 2 outs for the kings, or actually 1, because one is spades. But we definitely have odds to call, and sometimes we even have the best hand. And if he fires the river, I'm just going to fold. We shouldn't be ahead that often. And table 2, this guy mean bets again. But when they check the turn, I bet to protect my top pair. And I have some equity, even against overpair. But he had a 9. Wow. Maybe he was too scared to raise it. Table 3, we open small rundown. And we hit pretty nicely on the flop. When there's low cards on the board, people often overplay. Top pairs, overpairs, like here Coben, probably he might have ace kings, ace queen. He's drawing dead, he had a queen jack, which is nice. It's so rare you get your stack in with 100% equity. The reason why I didn't bet was that the guy was 109. So he's sort of calling station, and I don't want to bluff calling stations. It's so simple. And against more decent players, it's something that when they check back the flop, they often have some kind of a draw. It's not even a good card to don't bet. But yeah, don't bluff calling stations. He will call you with any pair. Then you are kind of have to fire the river. Here on table 2, we have a cut shot and we have a flush draw. But the spot, if he has king queen, we have less out, and our flush draw is queen high. When there's a call, he might have ace or king high flush draw. So we have only like 2 outs to the nuts if someone has king queen. So I'm just folding the hand. And I don't understand this donk bet. He probably has the nuts, and he has to say, oh my god, I shouldn't be laughing, but, well, I don't know why he played his set like that, but he's my friend. No, Totem, how important is the red line in PLO? Well, there's red line, blue line and green line is the most important. Because as long as the green line goes up, it doesn't matter if you make the money in showdown or non-showdown winnings. Wow, this guy is super tight. Oh dear, we have a wrap and 2 backdoor flush draws. And he shoves. On set we are flipping. If they both have set, we have best equity. So I'm shoving here and hope they don't have ace king queen, because that would suck. Oh, he had a higher wrap. And we don't hit the hand. Let's see if I had the equity. Only 9%, yeah, because this guy was king in my hand. I thought that when he serves on the flop, he probably has often set. And we have 2 backdoor flush draws, which gives us, if they both are alive, gives us around 8 to 9% equity. But now it ended up horribly. Yeah, he don't bets for full pot. And he's Estonian guy. And he's familiar from the higher stakes. When Milan raises, he has set all the time. And when he re-raises, I really thought he has Jack 10 or pair of 10s. I just can't understand why would he raise if he has a rundown or wrap. But he did. And we ended up getting in with 9%, which sucks. But if they both had a set, we would have around 40-45%. Here I'm going to call. It's a regular. He calls the flop, and now he bets the river. But when he calls the flop, what could he have? Why would he bet the river? He had nothing. Well, he had a 9. Yeah, I said if they check back, they have some kind of draw. That's when, if he's a thinking player, like if he's a regular and he has just an open ender, he might check it back instead of c-betting. If he has a big wrap, or especially if he has a nutty wrap, he's going to c-bet it. But if he has an open ender, he's going to check it back, and on the turn the open ender got there. And here on table 4, I'm check calling the river. Just if he has a missed draw, he's probably going to bluff it on the river. But he had a jack. Oh man. I'm going to give him call happy when he calls the turn with the weak jack. Because the problem is that when you start to expect a lot of things. I'm just going to give up here on table 3 because he hasn't folded to any c-bets. He's a regular in position. I don't think he's going to fold there often. In PLO 10, players play pretty honestly most of the time. Yeah, but the red line, how do I describe it in short version? It all depends on your opponent. Here on table 1, sorry, I'll get back to later. This is why I always like to even min-raise pocket pairs instead of limping. Because now if it's a limp spot, it's super hard to get value, but when I'm pre-flop raiser, people don't give me that much respect for my flop bet. Because they know that I'm supposed to see bet. Yeah, with the red line and blue line, thing is that it often depends on your opponent. If you have a lot of Thai players on your tables, you are making money by bluffing them, forcing them to fold their hands, which means you're making money with your non-showdown winnings. Thai players don't go to showdown without the nuts, so to speak, so you are not going to win money in showdowns that often. So you make money with your red line. When you come to PLO 2, PLO 5, maybe good PLO 10 tables, you have a lot of fishy players who just hang on. You are making a lot of money in showdowns. A lot of hands go to showdown. The bigger the pot, the stronger your hand should be, which means that you are making a lot of money in showdowns. But if they don't fold, you can't win without showdown. So against passive calling stations, you make money with your showdown winnings. So it's always kind of balancing. It depends on your opponent often. Sometimes it depends on your playing style, but don't force it. If you make money with showdowns, it's fine. If you make money with non-showdowns, it's fine. The most important is the green line. When it goes up, it's good for you. Here on table 3, he's a regular, so I barreled his flush card, and it's amazing how many folds you get. They are too scared to make the bluff raise on you. On table 2, I call this river star pretty small 3-bet with pocket kings, and I hit the jackpot. Shame that no one else hit anything. I'm not sure if this table 2 is good enough when compared to other PLO tables. Yeah, this one is bad. Tight, super tight players. This is, wow, super tight. And this one is super bad. This Milan 554 is destroying my table. Like, come on, VPIP 12. Why aren't you playing these tables? I'm going to close all my tables because the flop percentage has dropped down. And I'm going to find these, well, there's nits. Wow. So strange that on PLO 10 I have a lot of tables that have red players in it. But the Milan is one nit that is crushing all the tables, and then we have another one from Netherlands that is waiting list on for every table. So yeah, looks like we will have to deal with the nits on pretty much every table. Sucks. Come on, if you're going to play with VPIP 10 and you are going to play every table, you could be nice enough to do it when I'm not playing. Well, we just have to wait to find the good ones. Tip Leader is asking, what about collecting the dead money? What do you mean? What kind of dead money you refer to? Wow, PHK. I don't know when he got all in, but pretty nasty setup. Here I'm going to raise this river star on the flop. It's hard for him to continue. And I don't have to raise much because the board is rainbow. So even if I had 8-9, I don't need to protect it that much. But when he raises me, he has something that he likes. And my ace high is not a good one anymore. So either he's overplaying his hand, or he happened to have the straight this time. This is the nit I was talking about. Oh, why don't I sit out this table 1? Table 2. It's so bad. When we started, there were no nits. And it seems that we have a around 3-minute delay. We started with 2, but the stream the stream provider Twitch is adding some delay. So I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, it's good bluff raise. Like, well, I can open the hand, but the pot was around. There was around 70 cents on the pot, and he raised 50 cents, and or he bet 50 cents, and I raised 120, which means that I risked 120 to win 120. So if he's going to fold half of the time, it's break-even raise. If he folds more than half of the time, I make profit. So if we think that he's going to c-bet his whole range, and he's going to continue only with straight sets and 2 pairs, it's probably 10% of his range. So he's going to fold definitely over half of the time. Table 1 is interesting spot. We flop the set and it's a straight board. Well, no one bet the flop, so I really have to bet the turn. Just for value. And here we have an overpad flush draw. I'm going to bet it too. And 9 kinda sucks because King 10, Jack 10, Queen 10 got the straight. But if he bets, it's like he might have a straight, he might have a flush draw. But when he checks back, he makes my life a lot easier. So this my grab is a nit. here the Danita bots the turn, and I pretty much have a bluff catcher. I'm just going to pass it. So yeah, you can bluff raise with total air. Like if the board is 2-2-5 and your opponent opens like 20% from the position, he shouldn't have that many deuces in his range. So when you make small enough raise, it's often when you raise as a bluff, it's important that you know how often you have to be successful to make money. So like if I bet as much as there is in the pot, I know that I need to be right half of the time. So if his range misses the board like half of the time or more, we make money. So like here, when Danny pots the turn, he has to be successful a lot more often than if he bets 125. And the folding equity is pretty much the same. So potting is bad, whatever he has. I know what dead money is, but there are some definitions about dead money. Yeah, one is that if no one wants the board, I'm going to stab it so often, depending on what the board is and can I rep anything. Often when the board is sort of dry, like some kind of 4, 5, 7, 8 rainbow on the turn and no one bets the turn, I'm going to stab it. But if there's a flush draw, then the chances are pretty slim if it's a multi-way pot. But I'm often stabbing the pots if no one wants it. Another way of getting dead money is that if there's like some shorty all in with wide range and he can't make any decisions post flop, then I consider it as a dead money. Of course he has equity, but often when we think about that, do we have enough equity against, like if someone 4-bets, we know he has aces, we think, do we have enough equity if it's a close decision and there's some shorty all in, then it gives us better equity. And well, not at micros, but at higher stakes, there's some players that actually make money with short stack. And the idea is that when they have a short stack and there are deep stacks on the table, they create dead money by getting into a pot, and when there's so much left to be played post-flop, the SPRs are so high, one of those deep stacks will force the other one to fold a lot of equity, which means that there's going to be some dead money on the pot in the showdown. And now the search for the perfect table continues. Wow, what the... come on. When I went, like table 4, when I went to the waiting list, like 5 minutes ago, it had average players per flop around 50. Well, now it's 16. So yeah. Those stupid regulars just kill my game. Hope they have... Oh man, they are in every table. Well, he's playing 6. The Milan guy is in every freaking table. Jesus Christ. Oh. Come on. And the problem is that on my lobby, oh, there's one table that there's none of them. Oh, there's another one. Yay. Almost the third one. On table 1, I'm going to stab the turn. Should have some folding equity. When he thought for so long, either he has a strong hand or he has a draw. And ace is decent. I have a showdown value now, so there's no point of betting. And he had an... wow. Just pretty much that. He pretty much didn't have anything. Well, he has two pairs, but when the 3 is paired, his hand is dead. So, I leave that table, and Charon, yeah, I'm going to leave. Well, there's no needs anymore, so I'm not going to leave it. Do I mean dead money from posters who folded to a raise? No. I didn't. There shouldn't be that dead money in PLO, because if someone puts money in the pot, he is probably not going to fold pre-flop. So there shouldn't be that kind of dead money. Yeah, the whole thought process is different in PLO, that is true. Hold'em is pre-flop game and PLO is post-flop game. It's like, in Hold'em, you make a lot of thinking pre-flop about ranges, and then post-flop, the hand plays itself. Like, if you hit anything, you don't fold. So to speak. Of course, it's not that simple, but basically, yeah, in Hold'em, you shouldn't have that much folding equity post-flop if the opponent has hit the board. While in PLO, pre-flop, there are players that just play with any hand. You can make huge mistakes pre-flop. So you see the flop, and then on the flop, there's some decisions, and the turn is the most crucial part. Because then you have some information, and after the turn, the river plays itself often. So you have to make big decisions on the turn. Level 1 we flop trips and it goes check, 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 so it kinda sucks unless we hit the pretty much nuts on the river. Well, reps are not bomb hunting, but these tide players are multi-tabling and they happen to play now at the same time. It's like, well, he's marked as neat, but after 18 hands he's 44-33. And as I don't have any hands on him on PLO 10, he's neat on some other stakes. So I have to see what he's in PLO 10. Here on table 3, we stab the flop. When he checks, he squeeze, he check calls. Turn gives us a lot of equity, so I'm checking the turn. And when he calls the flop, the only hand I beat is some sort of weak hand, but I'm going to bet it. Because my queen high is never good. And he might have some 6 or pocket jacks that he's going to fold. He shouldn't have a king when he checks the river. But I'm going to mark it. There should be some sort of software that gives green color to everyone from Greece. It would be so much easier. Sorry for any Greek players, but haven't seen a good one yet. This guy doesn't seem so needy. But we have to wait for a bigger sample size. Level 1 I'm c-betting this flop, although I don't have anything. It's the easy option. If I don't c-bet, I'm giving up the pot. And with c-betting, I at least give myself a chance to win the pot. We have aces on table 2. Now we hope someone 3-bets us. Facchini, only 5 hands, first open. He has a lot of overpairs in his range, aces and kings, I think so. I'm just going to check back on the turn. And we'll go to showdown, and he had jacks this time. But he couldn't have aces. Could have aces or kings too, so there's no point of value betting. Therefore, 2, I'm c-betting even against 3 people, but if they fold, it's just going to be good for me. And if someone raises, I can fold. I have the cut shot, but 4 isn't that good for me. And let's see, we can see a free river and deuce is sort of interesting card. Can we value bet? We might get some hero call from 5-7 or something, but I'm just going to check back. Well, he had a cut shot and he had a queens. Okay. Nice hand, sir. I'm just going to c-bet here. I have the middle pair and some backdoor stuff. And the turn I bet. If he raises, I can fold. If I check, I don't want to check fold. If I check call the turn, he will fire blank rivers if he has a bluff. This way, I kind of force him to play honestly, which is what I want when I'm out of position with pretty vulnerable hand. Oh, there is fold equity. You just saw. He calls the flop and folds the turn. It's just the situations where you have folding equity are different in PLO. And for hold'em players, it's something that might take a while to understand. Like hold'em players think that when they 3-bet pre-flop, they have folding equity. And in PLO pre-flop folding equity for 3-bets is close to 0. Or if someone 3-bets and you 4-bet, the equity is close to 0. And post-flop, against calling stations, folding equity is close to 0. Against thinking player, it depends what you can represent. So if you can sell a good story that you have a strong hand, you might generate some folding equity. But if your story doesn't make sense, you don't create folding equity. Yeah, I think you can mark even the known Greeks for whales, because they just are. Woohoo! We had a Oh, I'm not going to open this hand. We want to flip. What did I fold? Oh, would have even called. Half a pot C, but I'm going to call here. Because we saw last time that he checks turn, checks rivers when he doesn't have a strong hand. So we can often draw to a river. Now we actually pick up an open ender. So I'm going to check back and see if we can hit anything on the river. And if he doesn't have a strong hand, he's going to check, and we see the showdown, and he had only a jack. And we win the pot. Here the money went in on the turn. We see bet the flop, he calls on the turn, we pick up 2 pairs flush draw, open ender. Of course he has a flush draw and a wrap, but we had 60%. And river is a black, and we won 30 BBs. Woo! Here on table 3, I'm just completing with my queens because they are sort of bad queens, and I get half a BB prize. And now something strange happens. Now this grease guy pots sounds like someone has a 3-4. And they put the money in. He has 3-4, he has 3-4. And he picks up a full house in the end. Table 4, interesting. We value bet the flop he calls. Now he has a lot of draws in his range. So I'm betting the turn for value as I have the top pair. And if he calls, I have a lot of equity. And if he raises, I'm pretty sure he has a set or 2 pairs. So then I can just make a mathematical decision with my wrap. His VPIP 80 out of 15 hands. I'm going to give him green color. Table 2 is not that good one. I have one of the outside tables is super bad. This one is super bad. Wow. Just before I started this evening, I checked the lobby. Here you can see the lobby. Players per flop. Over 40, there's like 15 tables. But the problem is that every time when I get to table, happens this one. After 5 minutes, it's down to 13%. So that sucks. Danita is a green player. So back to finding a good table. This one is bad. How about table 2? Bad. I'm going to close these two. Now there's some tables that don't have those stupid nits. In them. They are just swarming on every table. Christ. 2 pairs. Definitely see betting. And I'm probably getting it in. Unless they both get it in. And here on table 1, this Mr. Feeling didn't bet the flop. And now he bet small. So I think he has some kind of weak hand that he's just stabbing. So I'm raising. I risk 60 cents to win 82 cents. So if he folds half of time, I'm making a lot of money. And with that bet size, and when he checks the flop and bet 1/3 of a pot on a turn, he shouldn't have a straight ever. So yeah, that's like I raise without any blockers, and I think it's super profitable. On table 1, I see bet the flop. I'm going to triple barrel this guy. There's straight possibility on the flop. And yeah, I have a card shot in case something goes wrong and he draws. Yeah, he's from Finland. River sucks because I can't pretty much represent the straight. And when he calls a turn, he has something. He has 6, 8, 9 often, but I block those, so he has 2 pairs and sets in his range a lot. So I think I just have to give up on the river. And he has ace, king, king deuce. So I'm going to give him green color, because if he makes a call down with pair of kings there, it's horrible overplay, and I'm going to make a note out of that. There's some shorty table. I'm going to get into this one before the nits can. I haven't played higher than PLO 100. Some shots to PLO 200. Back in the old days. But yeah, pretty much haven't. Oh, we pick up the top pair. I'm donking here just to protect my hand. And I don't think they should bluff this river that often. Yeah, he had a king queen. Whoa. Whoa! Pretty needy that he didn't even see but the flop with top pair, top kicker and huge backdoor draws. But some people really like to play it safe, like they are never raising unless they have the nuts. Up there on the turn he has top 2 with a cut shot. Welcome Cuba. There's still half an hour left. This Milan, well, he's not on this table, but here you can see it. Can we see how many tables he's playing? No, but he's in almost every table. Probably like 12 tables at least. And with 40 BP stack. So honestly, I don't know why he's short stacking PLO 10 and multi-tabling. There's no way he can make a lot of money with that. And I mean, instead of multi-tabling many hours a day, invest half of that time in learning PLO and go to PLO 25, PLO 50 and make a lot of more money. Against the no draws busted and he had a passive line. Why didn't you bet the river? I explained it. The only draw that he might have is 6, 8, 9 type of hand, and I have 1, 8, 1, 9 in my hand, which means that I'm blocking a lot of his possible straight outs. So when he calls the turn, he has more of 2 pairs and sets in his range, and when the river pairs, I can't represent straight that well. He raises me on the turn. I have overpair, flush draw and open ender. I think I can't get it in. Against 2 pairs I have enough equity, and even against set I have a lot of equity. And he has just an open ender and bottom pair. So I was crushing him. So yeah, on the draw, as I said, I'm going to 3-barrel him unless the board changes. But in PLO the board change that often that when we think about when he calls the turn, and he would have called me with kings. If he calls the turn with overpair, he's going to call the river always. So there aren't that many worse hands that will fold the river. And what I said earlier, you can generate folding equity if your line makes sense. But there, when I bet flop, bet turn, and river totally changes the board. If I bet the river, it doesn't make sense. So that's when people call you more lively. Supernova. Jesus Christ. Supernova in PLO 10. I don't know if we saw it earlier, but his stars are not showing. Here this Ivan raises me. Probably might have bluff often, but when I don't have anything, I just give him the pot, and we'll see if he's aggressive. Then we're going to adjust. And this guy bots the river. The problem is that if he puts me on a draw, 8 completes all of them. So he should have a value hand. So I'm folding the river. On table 3 we flop the nuts but don't get any action. Oh, here we have a nice hand. Or so to speak, we have Kajillion outs, but we have only like 6 nut outs. And we should have folding equity. Here, when he calls me on the 3rd, he has a draw. So he has either flush draw or he has a straight draw, and I'm blocking all of the straight draw out. So he probably has a flush draw, and now when he pots the river he overplays it, but my 8 high flush isn't going to be good enough often enough. I'm going to fold. Sucks. What I was thinking is that if he has small flush, 6 high 3 high 4 high flush, would he pot it, but I think he's going to show ace high flush pretty often there. Supernova and PLO then, yeah, you have to play like every day for a few hours. I think we discussed it last time, how much you had to play to get Supernova. And it was like 2 to 3 hours a day on average, multi-tabling. And the sick part is that if you have that much time to play poker, why don't you put some of the time into learning it and actually play at higher stakes? Why do you put so many hundreds of hours into poker and play PLO 10 and make like $500 a month from rakeback? Here we're going to small 3-bet and we're going to cold call. I'm going to fold this one. I want raises a lot, but I want to have a little stronger hand before I get it in. Sorry. The reason I fold here is that it's so hard for me to flop strong. I'm often going to hit 9 high flush draw, weak queen, and all kind of stuff that will put me into problems post flop. Well, you can think that you pretty much rate 20 BPs per 100 hands on PLO 10, which means that for 1,000 hands you generate $20 a rate, which means I think you get 10 VPPs per dollar on PLO 10, which means you get 200 VPPs per 1,000 hands, and if you mass multi-table, you can get 1,000 hands an hour, so you generate 200 VPPs an hour. So then you just see how many hours you have to put it in. Supernova is 100,000. So then you just calculate 100,000 divided by 200. It's 5,000. Then, no, it's 500. So it's like 2 hours a day. 150. I'm going to 3-bed. So close. Because it's pretty good aces, and we get SPR of around 1 with 2 of these guys. If there were any worse aces, I would have called. And if it's any better, it's even more clear 3-bet. Of course, we hit the nuts, which is great. So now we hope the spare club doesn't come, but I'm going to check call here. Give him an opportunity to bluff me. And yeah, he's going to show me a flush pretty often, but he has been so aggressive that he can have some auto draws or even set of kings or something some of the time. If we know he has a flush, we have to fold, but he's so aggressive that we cannot be sure. And this time he does have the flush and we don't complete our full house. But like 1 out of 3 times, if he has a worse hand, we can justify our call. And he has been potting and betting so often when we check to him and show any weakness that I cannot be sure that he has the flush. He might have a straight draw that he is bluffing on the turn with the semi-bluff. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But it happens. Now we get a 3-bet. And we flop another stack of situation, because if he has aces with hearts, we are doomed. But if he has bare aces, we are actually ahead of him. And we have a cut shot, we have 2 pair outs, and we have a lot of folding equity against him. And he's 29-29, so his 3-betting range has more than aces. But now the stacks go in and he has, wow, an open-ender. So we get our money back. 50-50 flip on the flop, and I hate his 3-bet. Like, if it was suited to the ace, it would be better, but ace 10-9, 8 rainbow, this is horrible 3-bet. Especially when there's cold caller. So if he 3-bets, he is not squeezing. This is not a difference to Hold'em. Hold'em players think that when button opens and this guy goes, they can squeeze with the 3-bet, and you don't squeeze anyone. In Hold'em, squeeze means that they put a lot of pressure to the button. They're going to squeeze the button between these two. In Hold'em, it's not a squeeze. The button is drooling, because it's such a good spot for him. It's going to be a big pot and he's going to be in position, because when he 3-bets, he calls. The small blind is going to call all the time. And suddenly it's a big pot when the button has the position and he has some information about big blind's range. Especially if he is 3-betting aces a lot. So it's not a squeeze. You can't squeeze at micro stakes because there's no fold equity pre-flop. It's just generating big 3-way pot. On table 2, he probably doesn't have a king, so he has a misdraw. So I'm going to check call the river. I give him an opportunity to bluff me. And now I don't think there's a lot of value in raising him. Because he might have king deuce, he might have king queen. And if he has a misdraw, he's just going to fold it. So I'm just going to call here. And he had a total bluff. No jack high flush draw. Doesn't fold a draw. And like here, if I bet the river, he's just going to fold. But when I check, I got 25 bb's more value. So again, it's important in micro stakes or pretty much at any stakes to maximize your win rate. You have to give your opponent an opportunity to make stupid decisions. If I bet the river, I force him to play honestly. He's just going to raise on the better hands. He calls me with worse trips, and everything else he's going to fold. So when I bet the river, I don't achieve anything. But if I check the river, I can make him to make a desperation bluff. Yeah, with those stats, he's probably not generating 20 bb's per 100 hand rate. But I was talking if you are playing with somewhat normal stats. If you're playing like 12, PPIP 12, well, he's 13 and 4. This Milan guy, so he's probably playing 10 bb's. So he has to play like 4 hours a day, and of course sometimes you're sick. So on average day in the office, he probably has to play 6 hours. So wow. If I had 6 hours a day to put in poker, I would spend 4 hours learning. And after half a year, I would be crushing higher stakes. If I were him. But yeah. Maybe he's just happy on grinding. PLO 10. Making a few hundred a month. It's just a shame because, well, I was about to say that he understands something about the poker, but if you play year after year with 13 and 4 stats, I wouldn't actually say that you understand something about poker. He's not understanding a lot. Here I'm raising him on the turn, because my hand looks a lot like flush draw, and he just check folds the turn. So the float works perfectly. And yeah, he min bets the flop, which is even easier. I have middle pair, backdoor, straight draw, backdoor, flush draw. And I think I can call here even with any range, with any hand, because there's going to be so many bad turn cards that complete some kind of draw. There was a situation on the outside table. Like any card from 5 to 10 completes a straight, all the clubs complete, flush. And there's going to be so many turn cards that he's just going to check fold. Here on table 4, 2.5 man calls me on the flop. On the turn I pick up the flush draw and cut shot, so I'm going to check this turn. And I hit the backdoor flush on the river, which is often a great thing because no one gives respect for the backdoor flush. So if he has king 10, he's going to call me pretty often. And he raises me on the river. That is so sick. Because I checked the turn. He shouldn't check his flush. So to me, this looks like a blocker bluff. And I trust my instincts. And I call and he shows me the blocker bluff. Woo! That's how you read hands. And I'm going to open it here might explain it a little better. I'm just going to close 2 tables. Table 1 has turned bad, yeah. Oops. Peter says you need a caller for squeeze. Yeah, that's the cold caller. But at least I think with the squeeze when you 3-bet from big blind, against open and the cold caller. But yeah, you can't squeeze at micros at any point. If someone puts money in the pot pre-flop, they are going to call 3-bet anyway. So every time you 3-bet, you have to assume that everyone that has put money in the pot is going to call you. So don't 3-bet hands when there's a couple of callers that you are not happy to get a multi-way pot. Here I'm just going to actually check for the turn. I might have c-bet the flop. Actually, I should have c-bet the flop. But didn't pay attention. I was so carried away in explaining the squeeze thing. So I'm waiting that I can close this one table here and one table on the outside, so I have time to explain this thing. We've got bottom set on table 3. We have 2 calling stations, and we turn the quads, which makes it kind of interesting. But when they are call happy players, we have to bet. And now we are just potting the river. Maybe he made a straight and pays us off, or maybe he has a 4 house that he's low plays. And he folds, so he didn't have much. Just a second, just a second. So much going on the outside tables, but nothing big. So the hand with 8s and 9s. We open, definitely open from under the gun, and he calls. Flop is king 10-5, sort of dry, and we check back, we just create problems. So c-betting is normal, he calls. If we want to read his range, This means that he probably doesn't have a set or two pairs. King 10 especially. So he shouldn't have a set or top two pairs. And that's all we know. And when he goes, he has something on this board. He never has pure air. So we sort of narrow down his range. And then on the turn, we pick up, good card for us, it's a blank, it doesn't change the board. And we check behind, and now this is the important thing. If we had bet the turn, it might be different, but we check back the turn, river is a jack, and he checks. Now, if you had the nut flush on the river, would you ever check it here? When I check the turn, why would he check us? I might have some sort of queen 9 type of hand, or king 10, or whatever, that I check back the turn. So if he had a nut flush, why would he check here? I think there's a big probability that I check behind the river. So if he has a high flush, he would bet it often. Of course, we can go to leveling wars. If he's a thinking player, he might suspect that I pick up a flush draw on the turn. Because when I check back the turn, probably the turn helps me, or I have total air. And against flush, when I check the turn, I would probably bet any flush on the river. So if he's a really good player and he knows I'm a thinking player, he should check his nut flush here. Because with checking, it's the only way to get value if I have air. And if I have air, I might bet it here. And if I have a flush, I'm going to bet. Against flushes, if he bets, I'm just going to call, so he gets one bet of value. If he check raises, he might get 2 bets of value, like here. But it's PLO 10, and I don't think most of the PLO 10 regulars can make a thinking process like that they are actually checking nut flush on the river because they realize that against my range it's the best option. They are just scared that they don't get any value, so they are betting the river themselves. So when he check raises, it really looks like a blocker bluff. Because he can't just bet it, but with check raise he has a lot more folding equity. And I think this happened earlier in one of our PLO evenings. Not sure if it was a Finnish one or if it was an English one. But pretty much same situation, that opponent check raised on the river when it really doesn't make sense if he has the flush. And it was the same situation, blocker bluff. And I'm not sure how much delay we have, but the chat has died. No one has said anything in 10 minutes. So I hope we are still online. I suppose that as Twitch is creating delay of its own, we might have actually around 5-minute delay. Sorry for that. On the outside table, again, we sort of made a bluff without any blockers. Flop, he 3-bets me, and he is 81 and 3. So I think he has a lot of aces in his range. And he checks the flop, I check behind, he checks the turn. When he checks the turn, I know he doesn't have a straight. I'm going to do the chip leader comment. I had a flush on the river. So yeah, I beat T. And he's never check raising the river as a bluff unless he has the ace of spades. So he's never check raising me without the nut flush blocker. And I had the flush myself. So here, he never has a straight, so I bet the turn. Because if he has bare aces, the board is so scary. Of course, he might have like ace queen and he calls the turn with the gut shot, but there should be a lot of floating equity. He's never turning his king or 10 into a bluff. So his range is super polarized. It's either a nut flush or nut flush blocker. And as I said, I have the flush. Like, if he has a king high flush, I don't think he's ever check raising. He would be check calling. And with queen high flush, he's definitely just check calling. And if he has ace queen, he's never check raising. If he has king 10, he's never check raising. So his range is super polarized. But I wouldn't bet here pretty much. Nothing. Well, I don't know. It's kind of... When I bet the flop and check the turn, I should have something. If I had air, I would barrel the turn because it's so blank. Often. So when I check back the turn, I should have something, and that jack just completes so much of my something. So I should have 2 pairs or better, or top pair or better often, and that's enough to check back on the river. So when I bet the river, I really don't have a lot of bluffs in my range. So I was talking that if someone asked me what is my bet floating range on the river, I'm not sure if I have any. Because I probably bet the river 95% for value, and with those hands I would call his check raise. People turn pairs into bluffs, but it's a different situation. You always have to consider what the board is. And PLO is the game of nuts. So often someone at least represents nuts. And like, if we don't go too deep to thinking process, why would he check raise queen high flush here? So people turn showdown value into a bluff very often at micros. It's amazing how often they turn their showdown hands into a bluff. But this is not a situation for that. It's half to 11. We pretty much have to stop soon. I have to wake up tomorrow. Kinda sucks, I don't want to wake up early, but I have to. So we can't go too late on today. Next week it will be a different story though. it won't. Next week I have to wake up even more earlier. But the week after that. So in 2 weeks we have a lot of times. We can make up the lost time then. But today we have to stop and probably we can stop here. Oh, nice hand on table 2. Here I'm going to see bet against this Finnish heppapoika. He's the one who earlier made a call down with kings, so he probably calls here with overpair, but still we should have some folding equity. And he folds, which is great. And here, call happy player, I'm going to bet. I have a cut shot and overpair, so I'm going to pot the turn. And when he shoves, I'm going to call. And he has 2 pairs this time. So yeah, he picked up the 2 pair on turn, but he has a lot of draws in his range. And when he's shorty, I'm just potting turn. Because I'm happy to get it in with him. Kuba is asking, does this play make sense? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, well, I'm going to see it after these hands. And what do we do on table 1? We have 59-9 by calling the flop, and we have middle pair with the flush draw and the cut shot. And he's winning 33. I'm barreling the turn. I assume I have some folding equity. And if he calls, we have some equity to make up a better hand in the end. But yeah, he's a green one. So if we have to play PLO 10 again, this one is a green one. So if we have to play PLO 10 again, now we have even more green players. Rainbow double paired hand on table 3. Let's make a small 3-bet. Of course, when we 3-bet, if we hit the set, we have to get it in, even with the bottom set. Because in 3-bet pots, people are stacking off with such a wide range, and that's why I 3-bet it. And when he 4-bets, he has aces. I call. If someone shoves, we get it in. We are 100 pp's deep. Pretty much with double paired hands, 100 pp's deep. If you don't fold pre-flop, you are not making a huge mistake. And now we can just fold on the flop. And we lost 40 pp's. And I don't really like his 4-bet. Because there's one guy deep with him. And he's going to get a 4-way, but his aces are not a favorite pre-flop. It's pretty much 25% for all. So he's just flipping and he has to commit himself on all the flops. And Anita can see if he hits the flop or not. And yeah, now he won something. And Marcus has Jack 5-10. Oh, Jesus. And only one hand. I'm going to move this one to here so we can open the hand that Kuba was asking. Oh, it's a new hand. PLO 25 with not flush blocker, and does it make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. Although you don't give any information on your opponent. Chip leader, you don't say table or hand, so I have no idea what you are saying, or are you commenting to this hand? I don't think you can check back the river. You are always beat on the river. If you had any information on your opponent, I would like this more. But now, it's just, yeah, you bet the flop. Makes sense. Although $1 is good enough on these monotone boards. If you had the nut flush, then 125 is better. But with the bluff, just bet $1. He calls, so when you bet the turn, you have to bet the river. You can't bet the turn and check the river. That's the worst. So you have to decide, do you want to barrel him on non-pairing boards? Because you know he either has a non-nut flush or a set or two pairs. So on the river, if he has set, you're going to make him fold. And he might even fold some small flushes if he's a tie player. But now you don't give any information on him, so yeah. Of course, when he has the flush, it kind of sucks, but then again, when he makes note, you're going to get a lot more value for your nut flushes. So even if he wins this hand, if he's a regular, he's going to give something back later. So yeah, on the turn you have to make the decision. And on the river you can save, bet like 850, save 6 BBs. Because he's going to fold to 850 if he's going to fold to 10. So you can save some money on the river. So that 150 saved is 151. But yeah, it makes sense. And I think these bet sizings are better if you had the nut flush. And if you bet $1 on the flop and 850 on the river, no one is going to make a bet size notes or bet sizing reads for you on PLO 25. So, yeah, but it makes sense. And of course, when he has a flush, he's just calling down on you. So just make a note, calls down with 10 high flush, so you don't have to do that. Barreling again, next time you have the high flush. And versus this guy, you can make the same line with the queen high flush, second nuts. The sense in betting river is that if he has a set, he's going to call flop and turn. So on the river, you're basically making him fold his sets. His range are smaller flushes and sets. And from that range, you can definitely make him fold all the sets. And if he has small flush, a lot of players call on the turn, but on the river, they are convinced that you have the high flush. So they are making a hero fold with 8 high flushes or kind of that. So yeah, either give up on the turn or bet turn and river. So turn and river have to be consistent, otherwise it's just burning money. Oh yeah, we have to see where we end. Do we make money or do we don't? I think we should make money. We lost 2 buy-ins, I think. Yeah, we made money. Woo. I'm going to make the bigger one. Oof. $14.20. All in adjusted is 8.87, so we ran good. Yeah, we won 1 flip. And one time was we shoved our wrap and 2 backdoor flush draws, and the other one was overplaying his wrap and just killed our hand. And the graphics are like this. Yeah, it's nice. Boom, boom, boom. This is the spot where we put it in with 9%, so it... Oh, what happens now? Ooh. So yeah, but it's a nice graph. Going up, then we take a swing and get up again, and yeah, we lost 2 big pots in the end. Kinda sucks, but still ended up with all-in adjusted winnings almost 17, which is a great number. So I have to be more than happy. And we paid Ray $6 out of 600 hands. That equals... Oops. Oh, I can't use my calculator. $10 BBs per 100 hand. Wow. That's strange. But oh, I have something in my elbow. It's probably broken. Hurts like hell. There's something broken. I broke it on the spring, and sometimes it just hurts when it's in the right position. Yeah, poker is dangerous. But anyway, I don't think we have anything to talk. I hope that Chip Leader got something out of my explanations on how to estimate the range for our opponent. Especially the hand where the opponent had a nut flush blocker. It has some interesting things, and there were a few other spots. Just remember that action defines range, so every action tells something about range. And the way you estimate ranges in PLO is that every time your opponent makes an action, it's a check, it's a raise, it's a bet sizing, timing, everything. When you ask the question, why did he do that, it gives you answers. Like, on the nut flush blocker hand, why did he check raise the river instead of betting if he had the nut flush? It gives me answer that, well, he shouldn't, so he shouldn't have a nut flush. So, it's complicated, but it's always, in PLO you narrow down the range. In Hold'em you can just put it in Poker Stove for like top 15% of hands and see what his range is. But in PLO, 2 players might have 15% pre-flop range and they are totally different. So it's not the top 15. And PLO, it's hard because it's impossible to say what is top 15% of hands. Top 15 in heads-up pot is totally different than top 15 hands heads-up in multi-way pot. And probably top 15% of hands in 300 BB is different than top 15% of hands in 50 BBs stacks. So there's so many situations that affect our hand strength. So you can't just pick up top 15% and think that that's his opening range. And in the same way, someone might have a 3-bet range of 5%, but it doesn't have any aces. And some other player has 3-bet percentage of 5 and it's made up only with aces and kings and nothing more. So you can't make huge assumptions out of the pre-flop numbers. So there's a lot more in it. And that's why PLO is such a fun game. You have to think. But thank you. Have a good night, and I'll see you on next Wednesday PLO night. And for the Finnish viewers, we have our Friday PLO Mania. So thank you. I'm Kyyberi. This is PokerEyeMania.com. If you are watching this on YouTube and you are not our member, join today. Yeah, that's it. Bye bye.